It's finally that time of the year where we predict the Constructors, the Drivers' Championship, drivers who are going to be flops, teams who are going to be flops. Play along. Put your predictions down in the comments as well. I'll be interested. Like, subscribe. With that out of the way, enjoy your day. For most improved driver, I've gone with Lance Stroll. Agreeably, he hasn't had the greatest 2023 season, but the start of it was good, and the rear end of it was also quite good. And I think this year he's going to try step it up, get closer to Alonso. When Alonso finally retires, maybe then he can fight for podiums and championships. But it's Lance Stroll. Can he really? I don't know. For most improved team, I've gone with Mercedes. James Allison is playing a key role in their development this year. He's cooked up, well, apparently, a fantastic new car. And if that's true, then can we see Mercedes win anything this year? Yet again, we have to wait and find out. And I don't think this is a surprise, but the closest teammates, I've gone with Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. On paper, they've consistently been pretty close to each other. On the track though, Charles Leclerc's more crash prone and has some difficulties in that area. Carlos Sainz, he can pick up some decent points. Anyway, starting off with P20, I've gone with Zhou Guanyu. I don't think Alfa Romeo is going to have a good package. Sauber, actually. I don't think no, is it called Sauber? Steak, that's what it is. I don't think Steak's going to have a good package at all. A lot of mishmashing, I think, is going on over there. In 2023, it wasn't a good season either. Tumbling downhill, I think. And I do think Bottas is going to perform better than Zhou. I mean, it's Bottas. He's a good driver. P19, I've gone with Kevin Magnussen. Yet again, I don't think Haas is going to have a good package whatsoever. Not much has changed from 23 to 24 in the regulations. Or can Haas, or can they even have the budget to develop a whole new car? I think they're just going to try and improve the car over the winter break. But I don't think it's going to be good enough. In Hülkenberg, he had the edge over Magnussen throughout the whole of last season. So who's going to stop him? With all of that said, I still do think that Hülkenberg is going to be P18. He was very good in qualifying last year, but the race wasn't his fault entirely. No, actually, pretty much wasn't his fault. The car just tumbled down the order, and I don't think much is going to change this year. So Hülkenberg, I'm sorry, your quality's good, but your car just isn't. P17, I've put Valtteri Bottas. Yet again, I think it's the package that's going to let him down. In Mercedes, he was very good for a secondary driver. In 2022, he was also crazy. But it seems like he's kind of slipped down in 2023. Might have been him, might have been the car. We'll never know. But 2024, I think the same is going to happen. It's going to be a difficult season for him. That's why I've put him P17. Ahead of Zhou Guanyu, I think he's going to do better than him. In P16, I've gone with Logan Sargent. I think Williams is going to have an overall good package this year. But the question is, can Logan deliver? I don't think he'll be able to. He might score a couple points here and there, hopefully more than the singular point he won last year. But is it going to be enough for him to jump up the order so drastically? Nah, Alpine had a very lonely 2023 season, and it seems like things have been tumbling downhill. So going on with the little... So for that reason, I've put Esteban Ocon P15. I think other teams are catching Red Bull at a faster rate, and Alpine just aren't developing as fast as they probably want to. Yes, they did score 2 podiums and 1 sprint podium or trophy in 2022, but they were still just nowhere, fighting absolutely nobody in the championship. And Williams absolutely standing on business. I think stuff's going to change. P14, I've gone with Yuki-san. Tsunoda had a pretty easy season in 2023. The start of it, the car wasn't there, but near the end, he started gaining points nearly every race. More times than not, he was consistently better than his teammates, but I don't see AlphaTauri producing a package that is better than the Alpines or Williams this year. So that's what I've put in P14. And in P13, we have Yuki's favorite person on the whole planet, Pierre Gasly. Yet again, I don't think it's going to be a bad season for Pierre, but I think it's going to be the car that's going to let him down. And same with Esteban Ocon. They were both very consistent and pretty equal on pace and points. But I'm just not hearing anything about Alpine, any progress. So that's why I'm going to put Pierre Gasly in P13. Now don't flame me for this, please, but I've put Alonso in P12. Behind Stroll? What? Really? After that season in 2023? Yeah, I don't think he's going to do as well as he did. I think he's approaching retirement and he's going to take it easier. One of my bold predictions for the season is that Alonso will retire at the end of the season. His contract is expiring, and is there really a point of him racing for more seasons if he can't win a championship, let alone have a car to help him win a race? So that's going to leave us with Lance Stroll in P11. I believe and hope that he really does step up his game this year. The end of last season, he was very good. And I hope that momentum can move forward to 2024. He might not absolutely batter Alonso. He might just score 1 or 2 more points than him by the end of the season. And if not, then I'm just going to look stupid. So Lance, Please, for my sake, do good this year. Finally breaking back into the top 10, I've put Alex Albon in 10th place. With the introduction of James Vowles and, well, all of that extra help, Williams have been cooking, and so has Albon. 2023 was a masterclass of a season for him, and I think so will 2024. He scored points where he really shouldn't in Zandvoort. Who expected that? I was expecting a solid P19 and P20 by both of them, but Alex Albon stuck it P7 in the race, or P8. Well, one of the two, I don't remember. But it was a good result for Williams. And then finishing P7 in the Constructors gives them, well, more money than they had the last 2 years to develop. And I think they are going to develop very well. This also might be a surprise, but in P9, I've gone with Sergio Perez. Why? Why is he so low? Last year, he came second, but I think he's going to get replaced by Daniel Ricciardo before the mid-season. Similar to Nick de Vries. I think he's going to have a poor couple races. Ricciardo's going to be good. And then things are going to switch around a little bit. Perez is going to go to AlphaTauri or Racing Bulls, one of the two. I don't know what it's going to be called. And Ricciardo's going to hit the Red Bull seat. So that moves us to P8. I put Daniel Ricciardo. I think he's going to have a couple more races than Perez in the Red Bull seat overall throughout the season, and he's going to score more points. Call me delusional all you want, but it's happening. Trust the process. Trust. Could we see a Ricciardo podium or Ricciardo win this year? Getting my hopes up here. In P7, I've gone with Carlos Sainz. Ferrari, they're going to have a good car, I think. Couple podiums here and there, but I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular, anything to challenge for wins consistently, and not even the championship. I think Charles, as per usual, is going to extract more pace, and Carlos is going to be slightly behind, 2-3 tenths off. Going to put in P7. And as mentioned at the beginning, I think these two are going to be the closest pairing out of all of them. So I'm going to put Charles at P6. As I just mentioned, I don't think their car is going to be fantastic, but Charles being Charles, he's going to extract some more pace than Carlos, like he has done for the last couple seasons. Now, this is where it starts. I've either cooked up something that's going to happen, or I've just thrown it all away. I've put P5, Oscar Piastri. I think McLaren are going to keep on improving their car. Their car was great at the end of last season, and it's going to keep on getting better. Imagine if they had a good car for the whole season. That's what I think is going to happen for 2024. Oscar Piastri, P5. Can he get a win before Lando? Who knows? P4, I've gone with George Russell. I think Mercedes are going to have a rocket ship of a car. James Allison, as I said, is cooking something absolutely different this year. But George, will he be able to extract as much pace as Lewis? I don't think so, but he's still going to be there. Is he going to score podiums? A win? Maybe? Maybe? We'll see. Now for the top three, I need a drum roll. Please? Ready? That was so cringe. Just a mental reminder to never do that ever again. Anyway, P3, I've gone with Lando Norris. As I said, McLaren's going to have a rocket ship of a car. But I don't think Lando has that much experience to battle for wins consistently. Podiums, maybe, but it seems like whenever there's pressure, he fumbles. He had many opportunities to get a pole position last year, but did he? No. Sochi 21, we can't forget about that. Also, fumbled. Maybe in a couple years' time, we'll see Lando going for wins consistently, and then a championship might come out of it. Hey, but P3's still good, right? Pick your jaw up and put it back in your mouth. Verstappen, P2. Listen, for the last couple, dominating seasons, the third season has always been the closest. 2016, Hamilton and Rosberg had their battles. 2012, an insane championship battle, gone to the absolute wire. This year, I think it's going to be the same. And I don't think Verstappen's going to take the championship this year. Or he might, and this is just me hoping for an interesting season. Now, with all of that said, Lewis is winning this year, or I think he is. It'll be interesting. Imagine another championship battle, neck and neck on points going into Abu Dhabi. But this time, Lewis is on soft tires, and Max gets screwed over. The scenes. He's been very consistent over the last 2 seasons, but just the car hasn't been there. And as I mentioned, James Allison cooking a monster of a car. I think it's his time. It's time to score another win for the first time since Jeddah 2021, and another championship to break Michael Schumacher's record. It's happening. These are either my brain damage predictions or I've cooked up something here. I think I've cooked up. If all of these are right, then I'm a genius. But there's a high possibility that every single one of these are wrong, and Logan Sargent wins the championship. On to the Constructors. Haas are in P10. As per usual, it's basically their second home, isn't it? It's their second home. Their package, I don't think is going to be good. They're going to fall off a cliff in the races like they did the whole of last year, and they're just not going to be there. Magnussen and Hulkenberg, they're starting to walk around with walking canes. It's over for Haas. P9, I've gone with Stake. also known as Sauber Alfa Romeo, for your information. They've been on a downwards trajectory in the last couple seasons. I think it's only going to get worse. They only scored a handful of points last year, and the chances where they did have good opportunities. In Hungary, they fumbled massively. So I don't think this season's going to be any different. P8, I've gone with AlphaTauri, or if they do change their name to Racing Bulls, then P8 Racing Bulls. They had a good car, or a decently good car at the end of last year, but I think other teams are just going to improve more. It's a team that no one really supports, no one really cares about, unless there's some drama going on with Helmut Marko getting more and more driver kills. P7, I've gone with Alpine. Now, it's not that I think they're going to produce a bad car, but I think other teams are going to catch up to the top of the field. And Alpine, they seem like they're going nowhere. They were fighting no one, as I said, and it's Alpine. They're awful in every way possible. Sorry to everyone who supports Alpine, but I think you can agree. It's the same with Ferrari. Their strategies are shite. But we all love Ferrari, but Alpine is just a bit different. P6, I've gone with Aston Martin. Yet again, last year, they tumbled down the order a lot. And I think it's going to happen again. They started off with a good car, but things just went south. 2024, I think the same is going to happen. They might start off with a good car, but will they be able to develop the car? Gonna have to wait and find out. And this is where you guys are going to start flaming me in the comments. Bias. But no bias. Okay, maybe a tiny bit of bias. I think Williams are going to be P5. They were P7 at the end of last year. And this year, I think they're cooking. Albon is going to be a rocket ship. So will their car. And Sargent, I think, is going to put up a decent performance. Nothing spectacular. And James Vowles, the conductor of it all, the GOAT. Just the GOAT. The Tifosi aren't going to be happy about this. But P4, I've gone with Ferrari. It's not much really to say. They're going to have an alright car, I think, at least. I'm not But I think McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull, they're just going to be in their own league at the top. Yes, Ferrari did end the season on a high. Charles, so many pole positions and a couple podiums. But I think other teams are just going to be a bit faster. Oscar Piastri also with a season under his belt. He's going to be cooking. P3, I've gone with McLaren. Both young drivers, and I think inconsistencies and minor mistakes are going to creep in. Lando Norris, as I mentioned, Lando Norris failing to secure pole positions and just decent or better positions on occasions. And Piastri, well, he was a bit off in quali and in the race. In P2, due to my prediction of the conundrum of Ricciardo and Sergio Perez switching seats mid-season, or maybe even before the mid-season, I think they're going to be P2. They're going to have a good car, I think. I mean, what do you mean I think? They're going to have a good car, it's Red Bull. But with Perez, I think, lacking at the start of the season, and then Ricciardo getting used to the car, going to be slightly behind, won't they? And in P1, Mercedes. I'm really behind James Allison's idea and project here. I think they're on for a win here. So Mercedes, P1. As I said, am I delusional with my rankings here? You tell me down in the comments. Put your own predictions down in the comments. Subscribe, like, and peace.